Hi, everyone. My name is Rex, and this is my friend Kerry. And Kerry and I have known each other for over 25 years. We met, as a matter of fact, in a recording studio called Living Head Audio Recording in Phoenix, Arizona. And over the years, Kerry has played on a lot of projects that I've been involved with, and he and I both have a love for guitars. So, Kerry, today I brought you over to kind of check out some guitars in my collection that I think you
Nice.
haven't had a chance to play.
Yes, this is honest reactions here. I've never opened this case. I don't know what's in it. Rex is just going to show me guitars I am not familiar with and have never played, so it'll be really fun. And you know how they sort of tell you what to do once you have them in your hands, and that's sort of half of what we're going for. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. We're going to see how these, what directions these guitars take, Kerry. All right, Kerry. Well, let's go for the first guitar.
All
It's a
right,
pretty small case.
I'm excited because little small cases are usually a good thing to me. One of my main guitars is a Steinberger. I'm pretty sure it's not a Steinberger, but just that size tells me we're in that sort of neighborhood. Holy mackerel. Would you call that green? No, I'm just kidding. So look at that. Hey, is this what do they call them? Strand?
So this is a Hils guitar,
Oh, yeah,
Hils,
HILS, right.
and it's got a metallic green finish to it. I got to tell you, I got this after going to the NAMM show and meeting the owner of Hils America over there. And I really loved the feel of the guitar. And I wasn't going to find a green guitar, but,
Yeah, right.
but when I got there, I just kind of fell in love with it. And so the day after NAMM was over, I put my order in through Hils America for this guitar. But if you take a look at it, you'll get a sense for some of the differences. It does have a really nice maple neck on it, and I don't know how that feels to you, but it's got a
I like how chunky it is. It's not a super thin, like a lot of modern guitars try to be so thin like this way. So I'm glad it's got a little bit of wood to grab onto there.
and the fretboard radius changes from the top to the bottom. It
Oh,
flattens out a little bit.
big fan of that.
Yeah, and then it's got, of course, it's got its own tuning system, starting with a titanium kind of hold down screws at the top of the neck, and then down to the tuners down below. It is stainless steel frets on this guitar.
So you don't need Steinberger strings. Any set of
No,
strings can
these
just
are
go on
just
there.
regular Diodaros on here.
That's really nice.
And then it's got a coil split on here that we'll experiment with.
Yeah, so far so good. It's really cool. Yeah, no one gets out of bed in the morning and says, if I could find a metallic like lime green. But it's very pleasing when you get it in your face, isn't it? So are these like Hill pickups, it looks like?
Yeah, they're their own manufacturer. Those
pickups.
are active humbuckers. And you'll see that they're pretty interesting, in particular with the coil split ability. Before you turn it on, though, let me just ask you a couple of things. You seem to react to the color. How about to the body shape as you're setting it there on your leg?
Well, that was my next comment. It's very nice when you have a little thing like this. On a Steinberger, you have to like pull back the lever so it'll sit on your leg because it's just a flat thing and it would slide right off. So right away, I liked how, that's already resting right where it should.
Yeah.
See?
Even without a guitar strap
Yeah,
on
so
it.
even without a strap.
And it's got another cut here if you wanted to play more of a classical setup on it, which is sort of interesting.
Yeah.
For sitting on it, I've noticed that sitting on the couch, that's where that's come into play.
Cool. I don't think that's random, right? I think they were really playing with it and probably, came to that point of, hey, this would be two really great positions.
One more thing I want to point out at the bottom of the guitar, notice there's two little feet on there. So
cool.
If you did have an L cable, you asked me if an L cable would work, and that would work because you could then sit the guitar, it stands right on these two little feet that are right here.
What a good idea.
Which is really nice for an odd shaped guitar to be able to stand up.
A funny detail, but really big the more I think about it. How many times you wish you could just sit something down, but well, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't want to scratch it on this floor or whatever. Very nice. There's a strap button and the other strap button.
Yeah. So what I thought we'd do here is we'll take a couple minutes and get it all tuned up a little bit. I do want to thank Ron over at Hils Guitar, because I did pay for this guitar. I was able to buy it on a pre-order basis before it was arrived here in the States. And so I got a little bit of a discount by doing that. But Ron went above and beyond. And when I got the guitar, I told him that I was going to shoot this video and I'd like to really do a good setup on it. And so he was kind enough to reimburse some setup costs for me to get this guitar set up. So I just want to disclose that. I did pay for the guitar out of my own funds, so this is nothing provided by the company. But I think we'll take a couple minutes here, get it kind of tuned up, get the amp dialed in, and then we'll come back and we'll just see how Kerry reacts to it. And after he plays it a few minutes, then we'll do some follow-up comments on it.
One more quick thing while I'm looking at it before I even play it. You see these bolts? I can tell that they're countersunk like metal. These are like aircraft quality bolts. There's a metal shaft going down in there. So it's really making a connection. It's not just some wood screw going into a neck, you know, like that feels like you could stand on it. So excellent construction, it seems like. The push-pull has you turn the knob, huh?
Yeah, that's also the tone knob.
Oh, okay.
Tone knob, yeah.
So it's a tone knob either way.
Uh-huh.
But now it's a single coil sound
Yes.
or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So let's go ahead. We'll get this set up and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Well, we've got the guitar tuned up. That didn't take too long, did it, Kerry?
Well, in fact, we thought we need a minute to tune it. I ran it through the tuner and it all went, you know, E, A, D, G. I mean, it was there. And we just pulled out of the case. And that's how in tune it was. So that's a great sign right there. We also loved, Rex pointed out, it's got one of those truss rod adjustments that's right there. Comes with a little tool. You stick right in there, loosen or tighten the neck. No big deal. No unscrewing a bunch of stuff. Love that. Really good feature. The whammy bar screwed on really neat. You can sort of get it to be pretty tight if you want. You could back off on a little bit. You know, some people like them to flop a little bit. It'll do all of that. And this push-pull pot seems like it's going to be wonderful. So,
all right, well, let's put it through its paces. Let's hear what you're feeling now.
A lot of versatility hidden in the little package here. That's the middle at both pickups. Here's the neck. Single coil. How about that? That's a whole different guitar. Both pickups in the middle. Zero distortion, lots of sustain, huh? Sweet, sweet. Single coil again. Oh, hey. I like when a push-pull does that. That sounds like I put on a different guitar, doesn't it? And then we have our treble neck pickup. Ooh, hotter than July humbucker there. Yeah, just the volume on this thing is a major control. I bet if I back off that pickup, still bright, but it's not doing that little crunch thing, which I want. It's it's a good guitar when the knob on the guitar is giving you a bunch of different sounds just from changing volume. Single coil on the bridge.
Well, I guess with that shape of guitar, we have to probably put a little distortion in there and see see what it does in that side of the world.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. There's just a little crunch at first. A little more. That's all right. That's the thing. Okay, no, that's the humbucker. Cool. And that's just a little like blues amp crunch. I'm not even going into big distortion.
So just on the signal path here, we've got his GX100 as a reminder going into a Princeton reverb that's set pretty neutral. I rolled off a little bit of the mids in there, but we pulled the reverb off and the vibrato off. All of that's off, so he can kind of control it all from the pedal with the effects that he has set up. And we're running that 57 directly into the board. But here in the room, we're getting a lot of variation in tone, aren't we?
Yeah, yeah. And the Princeton, in a way, we're trying to get it to not sound like anything and just be a good little clean amp over there. Now, it is a Princeton, so it's not sterile clean. It's got its cool little amount of tubey sound when it's clean, which I love. But yeah, we're mostly going pedals here, and I'm sort of giving you a lot of the straight programs. There's some crazy outer space stuff in here, but let's just go for little crunch, blues amp, a little Marshall turned up all the way, clean, whatever. There's like a little rhythm Marshall almost. And then as this we kicked in more of the overdrive on the Marshall. Nice guitar. When a guitar feels really good, you play better lead. Because I don't feel like playing 1,000 miles an hour. The note's going to sustain and just, okay, let's just, stuff like that. Then the two humbucker Marshall sound. Tone knob, by the way. Wow, effective tone knob. Cool, huh? That's both pickups too. Usually you have to just be on a neck pickup to get that much of that Fender blender stuff. If only it's sustained, huh? Mamma mia.
So, for those of you who don't know, Kerry's a studio musician here in Phoenix and has been for many years. Thousands of recordings have come out of recording studios here in town with his touch to the guitar on them. So, when you look at a guitar like this, what sort of comes to mind? Is it a little bit of a more surprising of a jack of all trades than what you might think, or?
Yeah, in a way, right? I think a lot of people would look at something like this and think, all right, well, if I was in a shred metal band, this little monster probably works good, you know, because they see the badass whammy and active pickups and, you know, a crazy futuristic shape and all that kind of stuff. But really, like any really well-made guitar, and great, it kind of is a jack of all trades. I think you could play in a, you know, sophisticated, mellow, traditional jazz band. And even though some people in the club might be, what the hell are you playing that for? That would just be with their eyes and with their prejudice, but their ears would not say that, because there's no reason this can't sound like a beautiful, you know, mellow toned Gretsch, or a really biting Strat with a single coil, or real Les Pauly, you know. If you get it in the middle on the two pickups, you're Dickie Betts, you know. And that's the bridge. Harmonics and stuff with a lot of overtones and stuff. Since it's solid as a rock, and the neck is, you know, you could jump up and down on it and all that stuff. It's just giving you everything. And even though you might freak out somebody being in a rockabilly band, you know, playing Eddie Cochran and Stray Cats or something like that, it would do that great, because what, you know, good pickups, they can be single coil, double coil. They're warm, they're great, they sound good clean, they sound good dirty, if you know your amps or know your effects or whatever. Yeah, this little guy is kind of disguised as a crazy modern, you know, shred machine or something. And it is. If you want to shred and, you know, be Mr., you know, and all that stuff, you got that. But, you know, you could show up in the twangiest country band in the world and you know, at first they go, what the hell's that? And then after you played a few songs, well, I tell you.
So it sounds like it's a thumbs up on this one so far.
Big thumbs up, yeah.
Okay.
Just a good jack of all trades, well made. Feels like it's going to stay in tune like a monster. Action feels great. I like when the action isn't so low that you can't grab a hold of the string, but then it has to have that not a lot of tension. There's that trick of great guitarists to me. You get the action high enough to grab the string, but they're real bendable and they're not tight, and it's not like a cheese cutter, you know, ow, you know. So
well, once again, I want to shout out to Ron, the owner of Hils America, who imports the guitar. The guitar is made by a company over in South Korea, and it's made in Indonesia. So it's imported into Indiana, and that's where they ship out of from here. But I want to thank Ron for helping us out in covering the cost of getting a nice tune-up on the guitar before we did this video, so that I could make sure it's ready to go. And we're going to kind of do that on all these guitars. This is not an out of the box review of guitars. It's really looking at a guitar from a studio musician's perspective, and how usable is it, and what kind of tones can we get out, and is it fun to play? That kind of
Well,
thing.
yeah. Last but not least, I'm having a great time. And it sits well, like Rex said. It's a great couch guitar. You sit there watching movies and just hanging out. You don't knock anything off the table. You just kind of get used to it. That's what people all know. Well, and maybe I should say that people don't always know when they see a little guitar like this. Well, is that a real guitar? And well, yeah. But when you take off all of this, and you lose a lot of the body and stuff, it looks like a mini guitar. Well, there's nothing mini about this neck. Do you happen to know what the scale of the neck is?
No, I don't have it right
But anyway,
from it. Yeah.
It's probably this. If it's not the same as Gibson or the same as Fender, it's right in between them, or something. Like it's just your standard
25 something, and I don't
yeah,
know.
25
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
is
yeah.
probably it. So it's either same scale as Fender, or a lot of them like to do this halfway between Gibson and Fender, which this might be. So that means full scale, 100% full size guitar, full size playing, full size neck, and full size all the stuff that works. Obviously, it's not a full size guitar, or it wouldn't go in that, But
Yeah, they've got the stainless steel frets on there. The fret ends all felt good to me.
yeah,
I didn't see any issues
yeah.
there.
Thanks for mentioning that. Yes, really smooth. You're not going to cut your hands by running them over sharp fret ends, and rounded and buffed nicely. But the stainless steel, that's going to last a long time.
All right.
Is it ebony? Is it rosewood?
It's rosewood.
Setting on. Oh, and check out the volume knob. That's another thing. I like guitars with the volume knob here. Before we get
Yeah,
rid
it
of
is.
it out.
It is rosewood on that one. The other guitar we're going to try here
Oh,
next.
wow, rosewood fretboard. How
Yeah,
about that?
yeah, yeah.
It's a really dark, and who knows, maybe they even rub it down and make it darker so it looks just like the pickups or whatever, but it looks like $1,000,000. And look, like I have some wanky effects I dialed up. Like here's a sitar-like thing.
Pulling up the specs, the mahogany body, and it's got a roasted maple neck, that neck just feels nice, the satin on the back. And then it's a 25.5 scaling.
Okay, so that is
so,
Fender.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
got a double action truss rod in it, Indian rosewood on the fretboard, and it's the compound radius going from 12 to 16 from top to the bottom there.
No wonder I like that too.
Yeah. This guitar currently, we're in May of 2025. Currently, the list price of the guitar is just under $650 in the United States.
So really, this was in like the 650 range?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
and it's going to get my highest recommendation because this guitar can do anything. It might put some people off because of the modern crazy appearance, but if you're actually interested in what if it was all really in tune? There were no dead spots on the neck. The pickup sounded great. The notes sustained great. The volume knobs work fantastic. The pickup switching is great. Come on, there's a lot of $2,000 guitars that don't have half of that.
Cool. That's guitar number one, the Hils HN5. I guess we haven't said the name of it yet, but that's
thumbs up on the Hils HN5.
Okay.
And this is with me thinking it costs you $1,200 or $1,500 or something. So come on. I mean, I'm thinking, hey, not bad. you know, well made. And then he said 650, and I went, you know, yada yada yada. Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, top recommendation. Yay, Hils.
Cool. Hope you guys enjoy the video. We've got a few more coming, hopefully, and we'd love to hear your comments. Appreciate it.